Welcome everybody to AER Truck Series on iRacing. Tonight we are at Rockingham. The Rock has returned. AER Truck Series headed here tonight for race number 14. We've got one race after this to end the regular season, and we will head into the playoffs for guys hunting for that championship. Your current leader of the points is Nick Gowan with 5 wins on the season. We've got several others in the hunt to make it into the playoffs, so the top 12 making it to the playoff rounds. We'll go on tonight to the Rock and see who can tame this beast of an old track, gritty surface. Tire wear will be a factor for sure tonight, so see who can save tire, conserve tire. You never know when a fuel strategy may come into play with cautions and things like that coming out. But right now, practice is wrapped up. Qualifying is going on. We've got about 7.5 minutes left of qualifying. We've got about 20, 22, I think, going to be in the field tonight. Right now, fastest in practice was Dylan Picklesmeyer and James Ledford. Did not see Nick Gowan in practice laying down very many laps at the top, but this thing could be wrong here. But I don't know. I'm this track is, like I said, it's an old track. It's never been run on in the last 10, 15 years or however long ago it closed down in North Carolina, but they are bringing it back just like North Wilkesboro. North Carolina deciding to dump a lot of money into these two tracks to get them reserved and or preserved, and then brought back for racing in North Carolina with NASCAR. Can't wait to see that happen. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to look for 2 weeks ago, we had a winner, Joel Conley. So I'm going to look to see if I can find Joel real quick and talk to him pre-race, see if he's in this race or not. He does not attend every race for whatever reasons, personal reasons or work-related reasons or whatever. But I'm not seeing him in the field, so I'm going to go ahead and find another driver, and we'll talk to them. Let's go ahead and pull up your points leader, Nick Gowan, and see how he's feeling about tonight's race. Nick, buddy, you got a copy of this of SWAT's up in the booth.
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, bud. We are 14 races into the season tonight at The Rock. What is your goal in going into tonight with one race left in the regular season? You've got the points almost capped off, I think, for the regular season to be that regular season champion. What are you going to do these last 2 races and tonight here at The Rock?
Just try to maintain. If I can get a couple more wins or at least one more win, I think that's going to help me in the playoffs for sure. So, um, definitely will be a little bit more relaxed in these 2 races, knowing that I don't really have to fight for a spot. But if I can seal up that regular season championship too, I mean that'd be a big bonus to me going in the playoffs.
We've seen a lot of champions, win the regular season, but not win the championship overall. Do you think that has anything to do with the mindset? I know you've won 2 championships in the ARCA series. You just wrapped up your other second championship, I think, last weekend. So congratulations on that second championship in the ARCA series here at AR. But do you think that gets into the mind of some people when they win that regular season, that they kind of maybe take the foot off the gas per se?
I mean, it can happen sometimes, but I mean, there's a lot that goes into it too. Just the amount of luck that transfers over from the regular season to the playoffs, and um, and just that consistency too. Because I mean, there are several drivers in this league that can get on the hot streak as well. So I've been fortunate enough to keep my momentum going for the better part or for most of the season. So hoping to continue that on, but I don't know. Just trying to keep that momentum rolling. I don't, I don't want to fall into that statistic. Excuse me.
Don't worry, that
Winning
word
the
trips me
regular,
a lot of times too.
right. Winning the regular season title, but not the actual, not the big one at the end.
Well, I think you for sure have shown your grit and definitely skill in this series here, among many others. But good luck on tonight at The Rock and continuing your streak of top tens and top fives. I think you've got multiple in a row here. But good luck, and hopefully we're talking to you in the night.
All right, look forward to it. Thank you.
All right, I'll send you back down to your Aeon teammates, and we'll get going here.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you, Swats.
All right, that was our points leader, Nick Gowan. Like I said, currently just having a fantastic season going on here. He's got all kinds of different wins, top tens. He's got, he's got two championships in the ARCA series in AER. He just joined another league on Tuesday nights that I do with Velocity. Had a great race there, and then wound up getting knocked out there with just a few laps to go. But I think Nick's going to be having a strong night tonight. I think he, pretty much shows up at any track, and everybody thinks, who's going to defeat Nick tonight. But we'll see if anybody can cap this along. I know there's plenty of people in the field: Jamie Haynes, Mike York, Jeff No, Jason Fensler, Jared Mager, Charles Mosley, and of course Mike Miller, who's got that fan base out in the chat at all times. Thank you, Alyssa, for showing up in the chat for your dad. We'll see if he can break into the top three tonight and maybe get that finally podium talk at the end of the night here. We'll go into the national anthem right now, and we will come on back for the grading process of this race. Stay tuned. All right, that beautiful red, white, and blue song that gets a lot of people teary eyed when they watch that video and stuff like that. But wipe those tears, get ready for the rock. We've got 21, 22 drivers on track tonight in this truck series here. Race number 14 for AER. Their iRacing league is a top notch. We've got wrapping up this league here at the end of the season, unfortunately. But it's been one great ride for a lot of different people in this league. A lot of drivers, a lot of fans, a lot of chats going on about the season and the leagues. The drivers have gotten better and better. The competition has never been better, I think, in my opinion. Just so many stacked drivers in this league right now. So we're getting ready for this race number 14. It's going to be a crazy 120 laps tonight. The track temp is not too bad. It's 89 degrees for track temp, 77 degrees outside. Your relative humidity is 54%, so track's going to be a little bit sticky. 10-mile-an-hour wind out of the southwest, so it's going to be coming out practically from Georgia coming into the rock. So it's going to be a little weird for these guys on certain corners. I think it's going to be the turn 3 and 4 that the wind's going to be pushing them out. So might have a pretty good tailwind coming down the front stretch. It's not your typical track where it looks wide and spacey, but to me it's kind of a mixture. When you look at per se maybe Iowa or Kentucky or something like that, it kind of got the same shape and feel to it, just a little thinner between the wall and the line. It's more of a 2-car line. You could probably squeeze 3 cars in there, but it might get a little tricky with those 3 cars being side by side. But I wouldn't put it past some of these guys to try to get a win here at the end. But we're going to go through the grading process, and that is going to be on the poll. It's going to be Nick Gowan, who we just spoke to, your points leader, going to be rolling off P1 tonight. Stan Kernathan in the 43. Very happy to see Stan up here in the top, in the front row. Teammates with that 31 as well. Going to be starting second in P2. Jamie Haynes going to be starting P3 with that 53 Chevy in that advanced auto parts paint scheme. Mike York, another Aeon's teammate. That's 3 in the top 4 as of now. Mike York going to be starting P4. Jeff, no, never mind. There is 4 Aeon Motorsports teammates starting in the top 5 right now. Mike Miller in the 15 Toyota TRD is going to be starting 6th. Good start for Mike to this week. He's not going to have to try to come from the back right away. Dylan Puckesmeyer in that 38 is going to be 7th. Jared Mogger sitting 2nd. The points in that 00 going to be sitting 8th. Jason Fensler 3rd in the points, going to be starting 9th. And Ethan Greek returning to AER for his first race here. 91 Toyota will be in 10th position. We're getting ready to go into turn 3 and 4. We'll go up to the flag stand and wait for that green flag to be waved, and we'll get this race underway. Trucks are coming into the line. Green flag waving. We are underway at the Rock in Rockingham, North Carolina. We're rolling through turn 1 and 2, on in through the entry. We're coming out of the turn 2 with Nick Gowan down the bottom line. Jamie Haynes taking over the second position in Kernathan right now. Going through the back stretch. We're coming into turn 3 and 4. We'll see who can try to single file this thing out. You don't want to be too wide. Don't want to get caught up in those marbles as they come through there. But it's going to be rough to try to make passes, I think, for a lot of the guys. Nick Gowan getting off to a great start right now. Please let me know if the audio for the vehicles themselves is not very loud. I've got a whole new system, a new deck board, broadcast deck board, new mic, everything. So trying to make sure all the settings are correct and everything for you guys, so you guys can hear everything that's going on at this beautiful track. But in my headset, I'm hearing it loud and clear. But I don't know what you guys are hearing out there in the viewers. So please let me know if I need to bring that volume up a little bit for the trucks or not. So there's your scoring pylon coming up on the screen now with STK. Gowan out front, Stan Kernathan second now, back to his original starting position, got back by the 53 of Jamie Haynes. And then Mike York sitting fourth, Jared Mogert up to P5 already, making a big move up through the field, up 3 spots right now. Thank you, Alyssa, and thank you, JF Greer. Mike Miller sitting there in 5th, up 1 position already. Jeff No slipping to 7th. Jason Fensler sitting in 8th. Nathan Greek up to 9th. Jared Suggs into 10th. Dylan Puckesmeyer slipping to 11th. James Ledford 12th. And Austin Greer sitting there in 13th. Sam Taylor 14th. Charles Mosley Jr. 15th. Keith Boss 16th. Adam Botten 17th. Doug King 18th. Jeff Taylor 19th. And Jeremiah Nelson with his 1 win this season. The only other winner outside of Nick Gowan, Jared Mogard, and Jason Fensler. Sitting there in the P20 spot. I said outside of those 3, but we did have a different winner 2 weeks ago, but he is not in the field tonight. So that would be Mr. Kool-Aid that won over at the the new Atlanta track that we had 2 weeks ago, and he's not here tonight. So I also see Mark Morton out there in 21st, but I can't tell if he's actually on the track or not, as he's not showing up on screen. So appreciate you guys for doing that sound check for me, trying to make sure you guys get the best experience with all the volume, different sounds, and things like that going on. But we're back into the race here, 8 laps in. Nick Gowan leading every lap so far. Stan Kernathan sitting in second, stalking his teammate. And then Mike York moving up to P4, Jared Mogart 5th. Mike Miller back up to P6, his original starting position. Jamie Haynes trying to stalk the 43 as well. Those 2 right there have been so close on getting wins. They've been leading laps. They just have not been able to be there right there at the end to clinch off a win. Stan Kernathan, very, very calm, still skilled driver in the truck, but just doesn't have any luck on his side. Jeff No has all the talent in the world for sure. and just has one of the worst luck streaks ever in any series I've seen. He just keeps getting wiped out by other people's mistakes. Drives like a just a man on a mission every single week, and tries to stay clean, but just can't find any luck through the races and gets taken out by other people making either dumb mistakes or just simple mistakes of just trying to cut people off or trying to get into position or getting loose or not feeling out the tire situation. Things like that all play into the factors of Jeff No getting taken out every week. So hopefully here by the time we get to the playoffs, as he is currently sitting in the top 12 for the playoffs, if he can find a luck streak and maybe break his way into that championship four. But right now, Nick Gowan out front. Jamie Haynes now moving back into second in front of Stan Kernathan. Gonna try to go after Nick Gowan himself. Stan Kernathan, I don't know if he moved or not, but looks to be a pretty good gap, so it might have been that Stan got a little loose coming off one of the corners, but he's coming back strong onto the back of the 53 truck right now. Nick Gowan kind of just steady out there, looking at a .2 2/10 lead over that 53. He had about a 1 to 2/10 lead over his teammate in the 43. Stan starting to slip back just a little bit. Don't know if that's just the tires. We're only 13 laps into the race, so this surface here is very, very gritty. It's going to be very hard on the tires. We got 120 laps, so I would imagine fuel is probably not going to be an issue. It's going to be tires. By the time these guys get on a long green flag run, their tires are going to be screaming at them. They'll probably be screaming at the crew chief saying they need to come down pit road. Anybody who's spotting for them, things like that, they're going to be just screaming for tires because their tires are going to be just oily, slick, and this track, like I said, it's gritty. It just tears up the rubber. And when you don't have rubber on the tires and you try to go around this track, it is not a fun ride for the night. Looking back through the field, we've got Jared Mager back here in fifth right now in this 0-0, switching up the color of the paint scheme. Even though I told him I like that blue with the neon green, now he's do the black and red. Jason Fenzer sitting back here in sixth. Jeff No slipping back through the field right now, sitting in eighth. Not sure if that means that he's conserving tire, which a lot of guys try to do. They try to stay in the half throttle kind of thing through the corners and not really trying to beat up their tires, letting those guys who want to go off and go fast burn up their stuff, and they come right back to you about 15-20 laps into the race. So Jeff has lost 2 positions to start this race, and that's what I'm saying. I think he might be just babying it a little bit, waiting for the tires. Ooh, James Suggs and Mike Miller almost making contact there, real close in the 20 and the 15. Both of these guys battling for an 8th and 9th position right now. Mike Miller slipping back 3 positions from his original position. Dylan Picklesmeyer sitting in 10th right now, 3 positions down from his starting position too. Ethan Greek up 3 positions to 11th. Austin Greer up to 12th, up 3 positions as well. James Ledford down 2 positions in 13th. Charles Moser Jr. down 1 position into 14th. Keith Bost and Doug King both up 4 positions in 15th and 16th respectively. Adam Botten up 1 position in 17th. Down 9 positions from the start is Sam Taylor in 18th. Jeff Taylor down 2 positions, sitting in 19th. Jeremiah Nelson down 8 positions from his starting position, sitting in 20th. And Mark Martin is rounding out 21st, starting in 21st. And I do not see Mark Martin in the field, so it looks like that is a start and park for the point night. Back up front, it's going to be Nick Gowan still leading. Jamie Haynes trying to trail and figure out a way around this 31. It's been very difficult for everybody to do all season. The guy has just led a boatload of laps, has 5 wins, went on a streak, a 3-win streak at one point here. Only other driver to do that this season is Jared Mager, had a 3-win race streak as well. Jason Fenzer sitting there with 2 wins. Jeremiah Nelson with 1 win. And then Mr. Kool-Aid out there with his 1 win 2 weeks ago at Atlanta, but not in the playoff hunt. So I did ask him in that post race if he was going to be able to show up and try to make it up in the top 12. Did not think he'd be able to make it in the top 12, and his work schedule was going to be in the way. So not going to take a position from anybody if he did make it, even if he did show up for these races here. Felt like he missed enough races this season that he should not be granted a position in the playoffs, even if he would have made it. Big sign of respect, in my opinion. But Nick Gowan continuing to lead this race. 21 laps in out of 120. We've got 100 laps left in this race. JF Greer, I believe it's your son, is now up to P11. So coming up through the field in the 45 is Austin Greer in that Toyota, sitting in the microfiber, micro center paint scheme. Coming through the field pretty steadily. I think, like a few different drivers, like I said, they may have been holding off, conserving those tires for the long runs, letting the guys that wanted to go as fast as possible right off the start to get through the field and things like that. They just let them go, fall back a little bit, and then eventually 10, 15 laps later, you see that guy who wanted to go all out come creeping on back by you as you just fly past him like he's tied to a stump. But I think that's what Austin's doing. He's a very steady driver. He's always in the top 10. He's always consistently, fighting for a top 10, top 5 position. We've seen him in the podium one time at Watkins Glen this season. He's been very smooth, in my opinion. So just needs to find a little bit of speed and maybe a little bit of strategy compared to some of these other drivers that are pulling off these wins. But I think Austin's definitely a contender in any truck series or any series that he's involved in, any league. But that was a lot of talking I just did, so I'm going to do a little side-by-side action. We'll come on right back for this one. I'm going to give myself a drink and watch some of this action with you guys. Side-by-side, won't miss any of the action, and we'll be right back. Back here for the action here at the Rock. We're 36 laps into a run of 120 laps. Right now, Nick Gowan still out front. Stanker Athens back into P2. Jared Mogert up to P3. Jason Fenzer P4. Jamie Haynes slipping back to P5. Jeff Snow is up to P6. James Suggs 7th. Mike York 8th. Dylan Picklesmeyer 9th. Mike Miller falling to P10 as of right now. Not sure exactly what the fuel mileage is for tonight, but on this short track here, it should be about 45, I think. But like I said, tires are going to be screaming on guys. Not sure if they're going to be trying to short pit each other or anything like that. So we'll catch pit road action as soon as it starts up here. As of right now, everybody's still on track. One person is one lap down, and that's Jeremiah Nelson in the 7 truck. Not sure exactly what's going on with Jeremiah, but he's one lap down as of right now. If a caution does come out, he will be the Lucky Dot Award winner for that. Mark Morton, obviously, like I said, starting park tonight, so points night for him, but no action on track. Really no action outside of a few passes here and there from Jamie Haynes and Stan Kernathan and a few others throughout the field, slipping and coming back around people, but no cautions as of right now, no excitement of carnage or nothing like that. But Adam Botten working his way through the field, up P5, up right now to P13. Doug King also up up 6, sitting right there behind in the 16 truck. We were watching him just a little bit through that commercial break there. This 38 of Dylan Picklesmeyer is down 1 spot, sitting in P8, being chased by Mike York and Mike Miller. The two Mikes chasing him around. Jamie Haynes going to be first on pit road right now. Coming down pit road is going to be Jamie Haynes looking for those tires and fuel 40 laps into the run. I think if you split this, if he pits this time and then he pits at lap 80, he should be good to go to the end of the race. So try to break this down into 2 pit stops. Not sure if anybody else will do it. We'll try to pay attention to the lap times, see how much of a fall off we've got. Right now, the fastest lap on the track is 24.235, and that is by Stan Kernathan back in 9th right now. Looks like he's also hitting pit road with Nick Gowan hitting pit road as well. So 24.235 was our fastest lap of the night so far. They just ran a 25.648. So a little more than a second and a half fall off, but I think that's what's going to draw a lot of people down pit road right now. Jamie jumping on the gun and trying to get in there and get a pit stop done, trying to get a couple laps there before others decided to come down pit road, but the leaders jumped on him. As soon as he hit pit road, they came around one more lap and hit pit road as well. But our new leader is going to be Jared Mogert in the 00 with Jason Fenzer and Jeff No rounding out the top 3. All 3 have not pitted right now. The top 9 or top 11 have not made pit stops, so only a handful of guys have made pit stops. Nick Gowan, Stan Kernathan, Jamie Haynes, all 1 lap down. Those 3 have taken their pit stops, so they're just waiting for it to cycle on through. Mike York now hitting pit road as well. He drops out of about 8th position to drop out and go get those 4 fresh feel goods and some fuel. Jared Mogert back in the front for the first time in a while here. We've seen him go on that 3-race win streak a while back earlier in the season, and then he kind of dropped off for a little while. Didn't make a race or 2, and then when he came back from those, he just wasn't really contending for the win at the end of the night. He was in the top 5, but just wasn't close enough to a victory. But Nick Gowan took full advantage of those races and won 3 races in a row and won 5 out of 6. The only other win going there to Jeremiah Nelson at Talladega, the only race that he did not win in that 6-race stretch. So Charles Mosley Jr. and Austin Greer are finally making their pit stops 45 laps into the run. That's where I kind of guessed they would be for the best part of the race is 45. You run another 45, that puts you at 90. You can have a short run of 30 laps to end off this race, a little faster speed, a little less worry about fall off, things like that. But Jamie jumped the gun at 40, which means he'll probably come back around at 80. He might be able to stretch it to 85 and then give him that same kind of run there. But We'll see what the rest of the guys are going to do. They're now running 47th lap, so some of them going for 50. That's kind of a shocker. I don't think they can make it to 60. If they can, that would be crazy because that would be a one-stop race. And then really just kind of paying attention to the lap times as of right now. Jared Mauger just ran a 25.751. Stan Anthony's out there on those fresh tires, ran a 24.414. So a little faster than a second, almost second and a half faster than the leader, but he is currently one lap down. So if a caution does come out, they'll be stuck one lap down. The lead lap cars will pit, which then allows them to get their lap back, but then they're on older tires than everybody else that comes in and gets fresh tires. They'll be on about 8 to 10 lap old tires. Jared Mauger going around the 91. Had to make an evasive move right there with the 89 and 45 Austin Greer coming up behind him. Both of them on fresh tires compared to the 00. 45 trying to make his way around the 89 and 00. Trying to get back on the lead lap right now is what they're doing. And actually, it looks like Austin Greer and Charles Mosley came out of the pits 2 laps down, so they just got their 1 lap back. Now they've got to go the entire length of the track to catch back up to the leader to get that extra lap back. But as soon as Jared pits, it will recycle back them onto the lead lap for the most part there, as long as they don't have any major fall off or anything like that on the tires and start slipping. But Jared's still running 51 laps into this race. If he can make it to 60, that would be insane as a 1 lap or 1 stop race, which would be a killer for everybody else if they have to make 1 stop and he doesn't. So we'll see what happens here with Jared Maugard. Also, Jason Fensler is not pitted. Jeff Noah is not pitted. Dylan Picklesmeyer, Mike Miller, and Adam Boughton have all not pitted, along with Doug King, Sam Taylor, Jeff Taylor, and Keith Boss. But they're all in range of going a lap down as Jared Maugard is continuously closing in on them. And when they do pit, they're going to probably come out right around 2 laps to 3 laps down. So they're in a little bit of a struggle bus right now. Ethan Greek out there in 14 just went the 1 lap down. You saw him having a little bit of damage on the left side of that truck. Not sure about the right side also, but definitely had some damage on the left side. Going around this bumpy, gritty track of the Rock, Jared Maugard will sit inside the cockpit with him, watch his hands as he cycles through this track for a lap, and we'll see how he navigates this old surface. See him diving down in there, trying to get down to the yellow line. That paint does give you a little extra grip, gets a little loose coming out the back end of that turn. Goes down the short chute straightaway, got the Nick Gowan out the side on those fresh tires, getting his lap back and now onto the lead lap. Stan Carnatha coming up behind him as well. Breaks out of turn 4 with a full head of steam down the front stretch, chasing Nick Gowan now. Jared, I think he's waiting for a caution or hoping that a caution will come out, but I don't think we're going to see it. We have not seen one yet. 55 laps in this race has been very, very quick so far. Stan Carnatha making his way back around the leader to get his lead lap back. Those two will cycle out to be the leaders once Jared Maugard, Jason Fensler, Jeff No, Dylan Picklesmeyer, Mike Miller, and Adam Boughton hit pit road. It looks like Jason Fensler just decided to hit pit road now. So Jason down pit road, leaving Jared Maugard, Jeff No, Dylan Picklesmeyer, Mike Miller, and Adam Boughton out there on the lead lap. Still cycling around, running laps. Closing in on that 60 mark, so that would be a 1-stop race. I said tires would be the biggest thing tonight, but it looks like fuel could be a race strategy if Jared is able to pull this off. Jamie Haynes is now getting his lap back as well, so that puts about 11 trucks on the lead lap as of right now, with Jamie getting that lap back. Can't wait till they get this track finished, just like North Wilkesboro for the All-Star race. Can't wait till they get this track finished, get it up and running. People just, pouring into the stadium. I've watched NASCAR since I was probably 4, so to show my age, probably around 1990 on that one. So, but yeah, the Rock, it was always a fun event. Now that I live in North Carolina, we've got all these tracks around with Richmond and Martinsville, Charlotte, the Charlotte Roval, Darlington, Atlanta, bringing back North Wilkesboro. You add the Rock. I mean, I've got 6, 7 NASCAR races I could go to a year, with Bristol also being 8 hours away. So a lot of different tracks to be involved in North Carolina would be awesome. Bring back some of the old feeling. Um, I like revitalizing some of these older tracks that have kind of gone to the wayside with them shutting down and things like that. Kind of why I don't like the idea of continuing the Clash at the Coliseum. Like, instead of putting money into repaving that thing every single year and then tearing it back up and putting the field back in for USC to play their games, and then the college football season being over and then hurrying up and repaving it and getting everything fixed up, it just, what's the point of spending all that money? Go back and revitalize one of these older tracks, or even a local short track or something, and boost the economy in that area, and you have a track set just for racing, and you can bring back ARCA racing on it. You can bring back Legends racings on some of these tracks, uh, all the different street stocks, and there's just so many different types of racing that they can bring into some of these older tracks, and the venture that it is for people going, fans watching these races would be awesome to see. So, but Jared Munger decides to finally come down pit road 61 laps into this race, and Nick Gowan will take back over as your leader once this cycles through. Dylan Pixmeyer also hitting pit road. Sam Taylor finally hitting pit road as well. All of them making it to that halfway point in the race at 61 laps. A one-stop race. It looks like they're going to try to cycle through. But we'll see the gap that Nick Gowan has on the rest of the field when he comes through here. Mike Miller battling on the outside. I believe Mike is one lap down. I'll take a look here real quick. And he is on one lap down, so he's trying to get his lap back. But unfortunately for him, he's going to be on 4-lap tires, and Nick Gowan's going to be on 22, so he's going to be able to cycle through past Nick. He just had to do it on the outside. Lead lap cars do not have to give up their position or anything like that. Lap down cars usually are told to move, or at least be aware that you got a lead lap car around. But Mike going for broke there, trying to get that lap back. In case the caution comes out or anything like that, and he's going to work his way, try to come up back through the field. He's currently sitting 11th, even though he was just one lap down. Now that he's back on the lap down, he can try to chase down Jared Mogart, who comes out in 8th after that pit stop. Jamie Haynes and Stan Kernathan trying to run back down Nick Gowan. Got some other trucks down here on fresh tires that had just pitted, with Jeff No being one of them, chasing down his teammate. Stan Kernathan got some damage on that right front bumper. Not sure what Stan hit, but he's got a big dent and a folded up hood there as well. So some heavy damage to him, but he is currently still sitting in second. About half a second out in front of Jamie Haynes. You see Jamie Haynes right behind him, behind that neon green truck behind him. But Stan looking for another top 5 finish if he can get it tonight. And that neon green truck was Dylan Pixmeyer in that 38. SpeedyCash.com paint scheme. Green flames down the side of it too. But Jamie Haynes closing in on that second position. 91 of Adam Botten is a lap down, trying to get his lap back if he can get by these leaders. But he's got some heavy damage down the right side of that Red Apple Bush paint scheme. Trying to get to the other side of him, try to see if he's got some damage on there. We'll take a look, and he does on both sides. So those sides that aren't going to be having to fit or be fixed. So love this paint scheme that Jamie goes with every couple races. This Advanced Auto Parts, red and black. Wish they would recycle that and go to a black with a yellow and red. But Nick Gowan looking pretty smooth, looking pretty clean up front in that 31 Goodwrench Aeon's truck. Has led a ton of laps tonight. We are 53 laps to go in this race, and he has led a majority of this race, other than the laps that Jared Mogart just led there, while Nick decided to pit and Jared decided to stretch his fuel all the way to halfway in the race. Nick will probably make a pit stop again within the next, if he continues on the same streak he ran there, it'll probably be the next 20 to 30 laps. Jared, if he continues his streak of trying to run all the way to 60, then he should be good to go to the end of the race. Nick, now knowing that you can go 60 laps, I don't know if you pit and give up that lead. Nick out front by about 4.5 seconds over his teammate Stan Kernathan, about 6.5 seconds over Jamie Haynes, and about 50 seconds over fourth place of Jason Fendler. So If you know you can go 61 laps, he would be pushing it. I think 51 to go. He's run now 30, so that would be 81 to go whenever he pitted. Yeah, he's not going to make that. But I don't know. I think Jared Maugard might have the best strategy here. If he doesn't have to pit again, and even if Nick comes down and splashes, that's still going to be probably a 30-second pit stop or a 30-second run down pit lane to the pit stall, get fuel, get out of there. You're probably going to be in there long enough to get fuel that you're going to have to take right sides as well. I don't think he comes back around Jared if Jared is able to get back to the lead and go on through here, but he's on 12-lap run. We've got 49 laps to go. That would put him to the end. Austin Greer is on a 27-lap run, so he's going to be pushing it. He's probably going to have to pit. The only people that are going to be out here able to make it to the end is Jared Maugard, Mike Miller, Dylan Picklesmeyer, Jeff No, and Sam Taylor. But they're all one lap down, so they're going to have to fight to get their lead lap back. Jared Maugard, though, is on the lead lap with Mike Miller, but they are 21 seconds back from the leader, Nick Gowan, and he's running about 25-second lap times. They're running about 24.7 lap times. So they are closing in a little bit on those guys, but I don't know. This could be an odd one again. Nick may have the winning strategy of being fast and out front and leading this race, but Jared may have come up with a strategy that was out to left field and may come away with one. We'll go back to another side-by-side and come on back for the end for the 47 laps to go. We'll be right on back. Back to the action here in AR Truck Series. We are flying through this race. We've got 32 laps to go right now. Jason Fenzer out front in front of Jared Moggart of the 00 and Mike Miller in the 15. Toyota TRD rounding out the top three. These three pitted later than anyone else. Right now they're on a 34, 30, and 32 lap run. Right now, I think Jared Moggart could make it to the end. Mike Miller is also one that could possibly make it to the end. Real close for Jason Fenzer. He'd have to conserve and save fuel. Does not look like he is doing that. Nick Gallen right there making the pass on Jason Fenzer to get his lead lap back. He is now sitting in 7th, but 24 seconds back from the leader. Jason Fenzer, if he's going to wind up having a pit, is going to give up that lead at some point here. Jared Moggart looks to be the one or two that can make it to the end. So these guys that just had to pick their last pit stop of the night, being Nick Gallen, Jamie Haynes, Stan Carnathan, Mike York, those guys are all going to have to wind up pitting one more time as they come through the field. Or that was their last pit stop start. Rest of the top 10s looking like Dylan Pixmeyer, P4, Jeff No, P5, Nick Gallen, P6, Mike York, P7, Jamie Haynes, P8, Stan Carnathan, P9, Doug King, P10, Sam Taylor, P11, James Suggs, P12, Charles Mobley Jr., P13, Keith Bost, P9, P14, Austin Greer, and P15, Ethan Greek in P16, Jeremiah Nelson, P17, James Ledford, P18, Jeff Taylor, P19, Adam Botten, P20, and Mark Morton, P21. Like I said, Jared Moggart and Mike Miller are the only two that, in my opinion, are close to going to the end. Dylan Pixmeyer may be right there in that same boat. They've all run about the same amount of laps. Jeff No is going to be close as well. So the whole top five is within one or two laps from making it to the end. Jason Fenzer may be the worst off of any of those P5s. Oh, never mind. It looks like Mike Miller's going to come down pit road now. which is kind of surprising. I thought he would be close to making it to the end. He pitted one lap before Jared Moggart, who went 61 laps. So Mike went 60, which means he had 61 laps to go in the race. I would have thought it would have been close for him to continue on and just try to baby it. They had about a full lap in front of everybody that had just taken their second pit stop, but now Mike going to be giving up that position in P3, going to slip back through the field, probably going to come back out around P8. We're going to have fresh tires, maybe be able to run a couple guys down, but I don't know if he'll be able to get back to the P3 position that he was in prior to that pit stop, unless Jason Fenzer, Jared Moggart, and Dylan Pixmeyer and Jeff No have to take an extra pit stop. It does not look like they're going to be trying that. It looks like they're going to be trying to go for it. Jared Moggart trying to run down Jason Fenzer, about 9 seconds back right now from Jason, but he has been really conserving fuel, so I'm echoing really bad. All right, let me try to fix that for you. Is that any better? Nope, doesn't sound like it. See if this helps out at all. Oh, sounds like I'm down in the dark cave. Alright, sorry. I'm going to keep trying to fix this thing, but I'm not seeing anything changed. I didn't push any buttons, so. But Jason Fenzer out front right now. I am hearing the echo in my headset as well. I'm not sure what's causing that, so unfortunately I'm going to have to just let it roll for tonight. Sorry about that, guys. I'm not sure exactly what was pushed. Now you're saying the volume's low. Alright, is that any louder there? Alright, got rid of that thing. Let me see if that works a little better. Apologies. Like I said, trying to figure out this new Blue Yeti mic and new broadcast deck that my wife got me. So trying to figure it out for you guys, but I'm not hearing anything now. I'm not hearing an echo, so you'll have to let me know if that echo disappeared at all. I'm not sure why it even started because I didn't push any buttons or change anything. But back to the racing. It looks like Jason Fensler still out front, Jared Moggart in second, Dylan Pixmeyer third, Jeff No is sitting P4, Nick Gowan P5, Jamie Haynes P6, Stan Carnathan P7, James Suggs P8, Sam Taylor P9, actually swapping to P10 as Charles Mosley takes over P10 now. So that's your top 10. Mike Miller is sitting right outside the top 10 in P11, going to try to work his way back up through the field a little bit. He has currently scored one lap down, along with everybody else in the field outside of the P7 position. From 8th on back is one lap down with Jared Moggart staying out on the track for as long as he has. 49 laps, or 45 laps he has been out on track now. Volume a lot high. All right. Low, high, echo. All right, I'll turn that back down just a little bit. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Rolling through the field, we've got 16 laps better or left. We'll roll up the ticker instead of the tower as we end off this race here with 15 laps to go coming around. Jared Moggard, your current leader, or Jason Fensler, sorry, your current leader, Jason Fensler, Jared Moggard, trying to catch Jason Fensler, but is back about 6.5 seconds. Hopefully that helped the volume. Trying to look at the bars here. Maybe it's the mic is too close. I'm gonna back it up away from me. See if that helps any. Better? Okay. All right, I will not move. I won't touch any buttons. Right now, Jason Fensler out front with 13 laps to go. I'm guessing he's kind of made his bed, trying to think he's going to make it to the end. It's going to be close for him. Jared Moggard making up some time, so I think Jared trying to baby it as well. Nick Gowan out with a full head of steam, fresh tires, and fuel, good to go to the end, sitting P3, trying to catch up to Jared Moggard right now, and he is currently 3 seconds back from Jared for P2. Dylan Picklesmeyer sitting there in P4, out there on a 48-lap run. Jeff No sitting P5 on a 49-lap run. Jamie Haynes, 29-lap run, and he is currently sitting P6, about 23 seconds back from the leader, so he's not going to catch the leader unless we get a caution. Stan Kernathan also 23 seconds back, sitting P7. Try to get inside the truck with Jason Fensler and hear if he is letting off early or if he's rolling through with the clutch pushed or what is he doing. Rolling through the corner multiple times, letting off, and he's hitting pit road with 11 laps to go. Going to give up the lead to Jared Moggard. That's just a finishing for Jason Fensler. Not going to be able to make it to the end of the race. Going to go a lap down most likely. Not going to be in the top 10 either. Basically, how the rest of the field is spread out. He might be able to get back into the B10 if he can get there within the next 10 laps. But we've got 10 laps to go. Jared Moggard taking over Nick Gowan. He's going to be sitting P2, but he is currently 2 seconds back from the leader, so we'll see if he can close in that gap. That is Jared Moggard out there in the front of him going into turn 1 and 2 now. Can he catch him? 9 laps to go. Nick running a 25.3 and Jared Moggard running a 25.6, so about 3/10 faster as Nick Gowan sitting back in second right now, trying to catch up to Jared Moggard. Mike York, a teammate of Nick Gowan's, challenging the 00 to get his lap back as he is currently 2 laps down. Looking back from Jared Moggard right now, you see that 23 trying to go around the outside, Jared trying to hold the bottom. The more that Mike York gets side by side with Jared, it pulls him back. It's a little bit of that side draft that we always talk about that's going to pull him back to Nick Gowan. Nick, though, being challenged by a couple trucks himself. Mike Miller coming back into the picture as well. And I believe Mike is 1 lap down, so trying to catch back up, but he is currently sitting P8. So trying to get up here. He's going to challenge Nick more likely in the next lap or so if he can get by the next car in front of him. Mike York finally getting around Jared Moggard, sliding down right in front of Jared before going into the corner. That little bit of time Mike York was next to Jared Moggard, it drug him back a little bit to Nick Gowan. Nick running a little bit faster lap by about 2/10 as well. He's now 1 second back from the lead, and he's being challenged. Mike Miller running into the wall, coming out of turn 4, bounces off the wall, goes back down the track, trying to make a move 3 wide with Nick Gowan. Nick closing in again. 5 to go as Jared Moggard crossed that line there. We're going into turn 1 and 2 now, coming off of 2, going down the backstretch. Nick Gowan closing in, sitting right at 1 second. Can he get to Jared before the end of the race, or will Jared get his 4th win of the season? Has not won in probably about 8 races, it seems like 9 races. Watching the gap between these two, Nick is just now getting under a second, but we've got 4 laps to go. As we go through turns 3 and 4, we'll be coming to 3 to go at the line. And Nick is down to 8 tenths, trying to get within the draft sniff of that 00 to try to pull him in just a little closer. But he's got lap down trucks all around Nick. The 42 and the 5 now, 1 lap down, trying to get his lap back, trying to make the pass on Nick Gowan. That's going to slow Nick down. Jared getting real close to the wall there. Still 8 tenths back. Jason Fensler getting almost door checked by the 31. Don't think the 31's happy that the 5 tried to make that pass with 2 laps to go now. Clearly the 5 is on fresher tires and faster, but we're in the later stage of the race. Not sure that was needed, as he's not going to make any other positions. He's sitting P8. Now you got the 42 and 15 closing in on the 31 again, as the 31 just realized that he's not going to be able to get to the 00 with the move that the 5 just made there. Jared Margaret coming around, 1 lap to go as we've got the white flag in the air as we come through turns 1 and 2. Jared Margaret closing in the backstretch with Jason Fensler closing it again on 4 fresh tires. 1 lap down. Gonna dive in underneath the 00. No need for it. You're not going to make up any other positions. Don't see the reason for that, but we're coming through. And Jared Moggart's going to be your winner at the Rock. Race number 14 for AER Truck Series gets the win. 4th win of the season for Jared Moggart. Jared going to make his way around this rickety old track and come around to the finish line. We'll enjoy his burnout here in just a few minutes. Rest of the field is going to be Nick Gowan, P2, Dylan Pickensmeyer, P3, Jeff No, P4, Stan Catherine, P5, Jamie Haynes, P6, James Suggs, P7, Jason Fenzer, P8, Mike Miller, P9, Charles Moser Jr., P10, Austin Greer, P11, Sam Taylor, P12, Mike York, 13th, Doug King, 14th, James Ledford, 15th, Keith Boss, 16th, Ethan Greek, 17th, Jeremiah Nelson, 18th, Jeff Taylor, 19th, Adam Botten, 20th, and Mark Morton, 21st. As we enjoy the burnout for the 00, we'll be right back.
Got me?
What's going on, Jared?
Perfect.
All right, welcome back for AER's Case Game and 51 Broadcasting Victory Lane. We're talking to the top three, and that's going to be Jared Mager in the 00, Nate Gowan in the 31, Dylan Picklesmeyer in the 38. We'll be rounding out the top three tonight. We'll bring them up into the booth and give them some time to talk about this race. Jared Mager, P1, fourth victory of the season, one race to go in the regular season. Jared, I was kind of wondering when you were going to show back up here. You had 3-race win streak earlier in the season. You disappeared for a couple weeks there to take a couple weeks off on break when you were out in the points lead. That handed the lead over to Nick Gowan, who went on a three-race win streak, his own, winning I think 5 out of the 6 races in that time frame, other than the Talladega race. But it's been a little while since you've been in the top 3, or at least in the P1 spot. What was your overall mission coming into this race?
Win. 2 races up for the playoffs. So we've touched on this in past interviews. It's about building that momentum at the right time and heading into the playoffs and everything, and trying to ride that through. So I felt really confident going into this race. I think about a month ago or so when the official stuff was here. Learned some things, figured out some things, and worked last week in the ARCA race. Didn't get to finish what we wanted there, but just kind of applied it here tonight, and ended up working out. I don't know that the one-stop deal was the way to go, but it worked out.
Well, I was a little surprised, like I told you while we were on break, that you were going for the one stop. I figured the pit stops would be right between 40 and 50, and then I seen you keep going after Jamie pit on 40, and I think Nick decided to pit on 42, somewhere around there, or 50, 51, somewhere around there. But you just kept on going, and I was like, I don't know what the fuel strategy is, but if it's 60, then he's going to be within the one-stop range, which would be insane. And then you closed in the gap with those guys who then pitted. You pitted. They got back to the lead when you handed over the lead back to them. They got out to about a lap in front of you. You got your lap back. You worked your way back through the field. You got up into the top 3. Jason, I was kind of surprised he stayed out. I thought, him and Mike Miller and you and Dylan were going to be the ones that are going to be close with Jeff No as well on fuel strategy. Was one-stop race. And then guys started peeling off, and I was like, well, that's a little early if they're planning on pitting. And then you stayed out even longer. How close was it when you came down to the end here? Were you sweating and trying to dump some extra gas in there?
Yeah, I was kind of surprised too, Jason. I don't really know what he was doing. He kind of he pitted at a weird time to where he had to commit to 2, and it was kind of late to 2-stop it there. But yeah, I was a little worried. We were about a lap to a lap and a half, kind of in the middle of that good. And then like I told you in the break, time to go. I said, heck, it's time to go. So I don't know. We had about half a gallon left when we crossed the line, so it was pretty close. Had I moved up to the top, I think maybe a lap or 2 earlier, we probably would have ran out. But yeah, it was weird. Like I said, I don't know that the one-stop deal was the way to go, but I kind of had that preset because honestly, I didn't think we were going to go flag to flag either, green. So that kind of was the plan, to go to halfway or until we get that yellow, and we never got the yellow. So just committed to the one-stop deal, and like I said, it worked out, but it was a little bit closer than I wanted it to be.
You definitely proved the fuel strategy was right. Like I said, I wasn't expecting it, didn't think it was going to be able to work. And then when I realized you made it to halfway, I was like, all right, he's got it. If everything falls his way, if a caution comes out, you were screwed. But, it sometimes that's the rolling of the dice you need, especially going into the playoffs here after next week's race at Auto Club. It's going to be a tight one going into the playoffs with you guys with all the wins. The only other 2 wins are by guys who might not even make the playoffs. One for sure isn't going to make the playoffs. But Jeremiah Nelson's right there on the edge. So all the wins coming from you, Nick, and Jason Fenzer. What does this say about you 3 going into the playoffs? Is it a 3-man race, or do you feel like there are others that could maybe run off some wins as well at some tricky tracks that we got coming up in that schedule?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, the stats don't lie, right? I think us three are the three to beat, but the 15. Sorry, I'm not really sure on the name, but Michael Miller, I think. He's showing speed at times, and then the four. I don't know. He wasn't here tonight, but he's always been fast. If he can somehow get in and commit to the playoffs, I think there are two that stand out. And then again, it's so hard to say. I mean, there's guys that got like the short run speed and timely yellow at the end of some of these races. That can be in the catbird seat in them situations as well. So, there's a few guys definitely, but again, I mean, the stats don't lie. I think it's safe to bet us three for sure. But I think it's tonight was one race. To get it done, but I think next week is going to be a big race for us and for everybody trying to make the playoffs. But I think whoever can get that win next week is definitely going to have the advantage to start the playoffs anyway.
Well, it's definitely going to be entertaining at Auto Club. It's one of my favorite tracks. We got 3, 4 wide racing on restarts and things like that. So definitely going to be an entertaining last race of the regular season. Congrats on your win tonight, number 4 for you this season. Only Nick Gowan out in front of you with 5 wins. So we could see you maybe getting that 5th win and tying Nick. 2 winners at 5 wins in the season would be crazy to see. But I think Nick's going to have something to say about that coming to Auto Club. But congratulations again. Any shout outs for you?
Yeah, definitely. I kind of jokingly told myself that it'd be nice to be tied at 5 wins going into the playoffs. So, one down, one to go. And, if the official stuff or if it runs like the official stuff does when we were there a few weeks ago, it's going to be a fun race. Like you said, you can run the bottom or you can rip the board. So, it should be fun. But no, I just got to thank TDS Internet, iPower Computers, Asus Monitors, Twitchy Race Reports, Jamie and everybody for putting on the deal, and you as well for doing the broadcast. And shout out to Nick and Dylan rounding out the podium. And we'll see everybody next week.
All right. Well, that's you're going to be your winner tonight in the 00. New paint scheme again with me on the hood. You might want to leave it there now. But we'll come up with P2, and that's going to be the 31 of Nick Gowan, your points leader in the standings. Nick, this was a weird race. I talked to you at the beginning of the race. You said you were going to kind of go for it. You didn't really have that pressure knowing you were pretty much locked into the playoffs and almost pretty much locked into the number 1 spot as well. You came out and you led practically half this race. You were laying down some of the faster lap times out there. You ran through the field on that second pit stop. Did you have any thought to maybe do that one stop race like what Jared did, or did you think that on that second pit stop with those fresh tires you'd be able to get back to him? I mean, you almost did. You finished, I think, 7 or 8 tenths behind him, even with some traffic not playing nice. But did you think one stop for this race?
I thought about it, but I just didn't want to try to like risk it. I mean, fuel saving is not my forte, to be honest.
So one chink in your armor is fuel saving.
Right. I've lost a couple races that way this season, and yeah, I don't know. Like I felt like the 2-stop was going to be the safer option, and I mean, at least it would put me in a nice spot. I just knew if we could stay caution free through the first through lap 60, and by the time everyone else pitted, I was going to be fine. Because by the time that they pitted, I think I was a lap and a half or something, or a lap ahead. It felt like, or at least half a lap ahead of the next place. That did it. The gap there was pretty significant. So the 2-stop, I just didn't really want to think about fuel, so just decided to go with that and see where it was going to put me in, and almost got me in the victory lane.
Well, I mean, we've got some tracks on here that could be fuel saving strategies. I mean, once we start the playoffs, the round of 12 is going to be Dover, Richmond. So 2 races in that round. Richmond, not much of a fuel saving, I would think. Dover, I guess, could be. Going into round 8, we got Lucas Oil, New Hampshire. Those 2, I mean, Lucas Oil, that's a shot in the dark on that one. New Hampshire, I mean, that could become a fuel strategy as well. And then Las Vegas, I mean, it goes both ways on tires and fuel, depending. I mean, fuel strategy to me is a open strategy during the race, because a caution comes out, it throws everything to the wind. If caution came out, Jared, in my opinion, would have been screwed. He would have had to pit. you could have probably stayed out if the caution came out at the right time of when you did that second stop or close to it. And I mean, you were one of the faster trucks on track almost all night. So I would imagine you probably could have stayed out. You could have followed Jared down the pit road. There was only like 7 or 8 of you even on the lead lap. So I guess you wouldn't have been that far back. But unfortunately, it didn't come out. I mean, I was kind of surprised to see green all the way through this race. It's an old track. It's got a gritty surface. Um, it's a non-race in real life, obviously. Well, right now it is until they get it fixed up and ready to go like they got North Wilkesboro going. But I was just, were you surprised that this thing was green to green all the way through? Green to check?
I mean, unlike the ARCA cars, these things are, I mean, they're oddly bouncier, but also more stable than the ARCA cars. They got more downforce, especially at speed, so you're more planted in the track, as bouncy as it is. They don't really get incredibly loose on the cold tires like the ARCA cars do. So it's I was hoping for at least one caution because I mean that would have changed the strategy up. I mean, had we gotten a caution even 5 laps into the race, then it was going to be a one stopper from there. Um, but no, I mean the truck series has got a lot of good guys in there and a lot of cleaner racers for the most part. And yeah, not entirely surprised it went green all the way, but it was kind of interesting to see like what people. I saw Dylan went the longest on that first stint, and Jared and Jeff both pitted on the same lap 59, and I saw Jason. I think he pitted lap 56 or something, or give or take. But it was just interesting to see all the different strategies play out there towards the end.
All right, so I know a lot of guys don't like to do this, but I mean, they do in real life, so I'm going to ask you that move that the five made with 2 laps to go, how did that sit with you? And going forward, what does that mean for you and the five when you guys get next to each other close to an end of the race?
I definitely didn't appreciate it. I mean, situational awareness. I mean, I think like Jason's always been a clean racer, and that's the first time I've probably ever had an issue with him. I was hoping for a little bit more leeway because I mean he was in the lucky dog spot, and even if a caution did come out there, he was going to be fine. So I didn't appreciate the way he ran me there at the end. I understand he was on fresher tires, but like he put himself directly in between first and second place. Whether I was going to get to Jared or not is irrelevant.
Yeah, I mean, with 2 laps to go, that's where I was confused. I'm like, you ain't going to go any further. And even if you do get past the leader, by the time you do get past Jared, the white flag would be out, which means the race would be over. It wouldn't even be an overtime situation. So I just didn't see the reasoning there. I didn't see the point of it. I felt like at that point, with 2 or 3 laps to go, he could have just sat behind you and watched to see what happened. He wasn't going to go any further. He finished P8. That's where he was when he passed you or was battling you for the pass. So me personally, I would have stayed behind you and just let you contend with Jared to see. I mean, you were closing in. You had closed in from, I want to say it was like 6 or 7 seconds back with about 10 laps to go, 15 laps to go, and you got within 7/10 when Jason got side by side with you. So, but we did see it with the leader as well. The 23 was battling him side by side for a while. But I mean, that was with what, 10 laps to go or so. So if a caution does come out, he's back on the lead lap. I can kind of see that one, but with 2 laps to go, I think that's a little too much.
Right, and moving forward, I mean, I'll save that one for the bank, and probably won't give them as much room as I would have before.
Because I mean, you two are for sure going to be in the playoffs. You two are for sure are going to be battling for a championship. You don't want to make enemies this late in the regular season, getting ready to go into the playoffs, in my opinion. So that's another reason why I would have just stayed back and let you go, chase down Jared if you could.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'll leave it there with you. I know a lot of guys don't like talking about it, but NASCAR likes a little drama between drivers. I myself like to talk to you guys about it and bring up a little drama. Hopefully it doesn't spill over onto the track, but talking about it doesn't hurt, in my opinion. So, but congratulations again on the P2. Another top 5 for you, top 3 for you. I think that's probably somewhere in the realm of like 15 for you or something. Even though we've had 14 races, but it just seems like you're in the top 3 every single week. Any shout outs for you, teammates?
Shout out to you. Thank you for doing the broadcasting each and every race. And I definitely appreciated the broadcast you did for Velocity the other night for their season opener. But yes, shout out to my teammates. Stan was up there with me. I think he just got caught up in traffic there towards the end, so he fell back a little bit. But we were both running the same strategy, and to the rest of the team at Ion Motorsports. And we'll see you next week.
3 of you did finish in the top 5, so you're P2, Jeff No coming home P4, and Stan P5. So 3 drivers in the top 5 for Aeons.
Yeah, very happy with that result. Jeff did the 1 stop and then Stan did the 2 stop. So like a little mixture of strategies there. Yeah.
But congratulations again. We'll see what happens next week at Auto Club. Velocity is coming back tomorrow night. I'll be leading that one up for Texas, so we'll see what happens there. But congratulations again.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, bringing up P3, and that's going to be Dylan Pixpire in the 38 in that neon green truck that I couldn't figure out who was in it. Dylan, bright paint scheme tonight. You did the 1-stop pit strategy as well. You went a little longer, actually, than Jared did in that first run. I think you wound up going 62, 63 laps, which put you on a little fresher tires than him, but you were able to contend and stay up here in the top 3. One of the first top 3s I think you've had or been this season, I think. I don't know if I've talked to you before in the top 3, so congratulations on that. How was your race, and what brought up the strategy of the 1-stop?
Yeah, man, this has been a rough season for me. I've been just no luck. But yeah, I was just saving my tire that first run, and I was joking with Sam, my teammate, and saying it must be the Ford that gave me a couple more laps of gas, because I was just riding and saving my tires. I didn't save any lap or like gas in that first run. And then I just tried to stay out as long as I could, hoping for a caution or something, and it never came. So I made it 62, 63 laps that first run, and just ran it out the second run. Came home P3. So I got lucky, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's never a better time to start rocking off some P3s or top 3 finishes, closing out the regular season. We've got 1 race coming back for Auto Club to round out this regular season. How are you at Auto Club, and do you think you can do a repeat performance or a little better next week at Auto Club?
I think I could get a top 3 at Auto Club. I've almost won Michigan last season, lost it coming out of 4. So that's pretty much Auto Club. So I feel like I could run up front and see what can happen.
Well, with Auto Club, it's a tire destroyer as well as some of the other tracks. Not so much probably fuel, but obviously fuel strategies, like I said, are fluctuating throughout the race depending on where cautions come out and things like that. The track itself can be very slippery coming off the corners for some drivers, especially later in the run with those older tires getting grinded off by that old surface and the lighter load of fuel in the truck. So I'm surprised we went green to Checker tonight, but I have a feeling we're not going to go green to Checker next week. I have a feeling there's going to be at least 1 caution with somebody sliding off that corner. But tonight at the Rock, this kind of old surface and everything, you were able to bring it home P3. What was it about the Rock that allowed you to do that besides the strategy? Was it just your style of driving? I know we had the top line, we had the bottom line. Obviously, top line drew a little more fuel than running the bottom because it's a longer way around the track. But the surface obviously ate up the tires too. So what was it about the Rock that you liked to be able to bring home that first P3 tonight?
I think it's just my driving style of saving it a little bit at the beginning and letting everybody come back to me. And I've ran 3rd at the ARCA series last week. So I guess it's just the track. I mean, I enjoy the track. It's a North Carolina track. That's my home state. So I guess it's kind of a hometown track. So I enjoy it. I mean, I was just running the bottom in 1 and 2 and then would go the middle in 3 and 4. And just everybody came back to me, and I made it a 1-stopper. So turned out pretty good.
Well, I'm originally a Pennsylvania boy, but I've been in North Carolina for coming up on 13 years. So definitely enjoying this state. Loving that we've got North Wilkesboro coming back. Rockingham is being rebuilt and coming back as well. I always talk about this is like the center of NASCAR with 8 different tracks within 8 to 9 hours of each other. With Darlington, I mean, even Talladega is probably 10 hours, I think. But with Atlanta, Rockingham coming back, North Wilkesboro, Charlotte, Charlotte Roval, Bristol, Richmond, Martinsville. There's so many tracks in this area. Not to mention the local tracks like Bowman Gray and some of the other ones out there in Hickory and a couple others out there. So definitely a great spot to be. But this track here, I can't wait till it comes back in real life and these guys fire up on this track. I loved watching the practicing going on at North Wilkesboro this past week with the trucks and the Cup guys out there. It was great to see them on the track, and I'm glad they kept the surface the same. Hopefully, they can do something similar with Rockingham. But just a great night for you. A top 3 at a home track, like you said. I do agree. This track is kind of like some other tracks we run into, like Charlotte and a couple others that you don't run off and go full speed ahead as soon as you start the race. You kind of baby those tires a little bit for 10, 15 laps. Let those guys that want to go out there and run those extremely fast laps and think they're, making up a ton of ground and passing people and going up through the field. And then all of a sudden, 10, 15 laps into the run, they just come creeping right back to you like you threw them out there like a bobber and just reeling them right back in. You pass them like they were tied to a stump a lot of times on some of these tracks. So I think that was the strategy, was conserving tires and fuel right off the bat. That definitely helped you. So again, great strategy, great call, and great driving at a home track. And congratulations on the P3 again. Any shout outs for you?
Yeah, I want to shout out my team, Town Motorsports, Jeremiah, Sam, and Jeff, and shout out to you for doing this, and shout out to my fiance. I love you, girl.
I think there's a bunch of us that always say, thanks to the wives for letting us do this, or
Yeah.
fiancés or girlfriends or whatever. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. You guys as drivers putting in the practice and the time on the track. Myself building all these scenes and putting all this stuff together and spending time watching you guys run around these things. It's sometimes it makes me want to get back in the seat and drive, and then other times I look at it and be like, yep, there's no way I can compete with any of you. There's no point in me being on the track and being a roadblock, so I'll sit my happy butt right here in the chair and call these awesome races that you guys put on. So great job tonight. Thank you again to Jamie Haynes and Charles Mosley for putting on the series and bringing me in as a broadcaster. It's been a great season so far. We got 1 race left in the regular season. Then we start that all-important hunt for the championship in the playoff rounds. 2 races in the first round, 2 races in the second round, going to that championship race at Las Vegas. So stay tuned for those races. Come back next Monday, 8 o'clock. I will go live, and we'll go live at Auto Club. See who can come away with that victory. See if we'll have a newcomer come in and get another win, or if we'll have another repeat victory from one of the 3 or 4 that have wins this season. It's going to be a crazy end of the season. See if Nick can cap off this championship in the regular season and head into the playoffs with it, or if Jared can close in the gap. I think he's a little bit off. He'd have to probably have Nick not even show up next week to be close, but it's going to be a good run to the season. Appreciate everybody on the chat. Appreciate the Miller family for always tuning in. Appreciate the Greer family for always tuning in. You guys are definitely helpful for being in the chat and commenting. Thank you to Papa Bear for showing up in the chat as well. His Turn Down for What season is doing a late model racing on Wednesday nights. We'll be coming back for the Cup Series that I'll be broadcasting in the next gens, or actually in the Gen 6 Cup Series is what they're going to bring back late May. And then Velocity Motorsports on Tuesday nights, tomorrow night, going live at about 7:20, 7:30 with my brother in the booth with me as always. Some of the drivers in tonight's league will be racing in that league as well. One of them being Nick Gowan, who was within just a handful of laps from going to victory lane last week at the opening race at Daytona. But come back tomorrow night at 7:15, 7:20, and we'll go to Texas Motor Speedway and see what happens there. Also Thursday nights with repeat 1975 for the Spartan Challenge Series brought to you by iRock TV. We'll go there Thursday night as we're getting into another asphalt race, as we had the dirt race at Bristol last week that was a first time winner in that race. So great stuff headed this way, and we'll catch you guys next time.